Katharine, first, I just wanted to speak to you before we move on to the other area about your decision to quit as the government social mobility czar. Personally, I think this is such a shame because, my God, what this government needs, what the civil service needs, what the education world needs is someone like you giving these unfiltered views. But in the end, you decided that for some reason you were causing more harm than good. I don't understand that because I think you were doing a lot of good. So can you explain why you quit your role?
Well, that's very kind. It's just that I tend to say things that can be a bit controversial, and then that could cause issues for the commission. And I feel that my deputy who was there, Alan Francis, is a great guy, and he's just better placed to be able to do the job. You know, I like to be able to say what I want. And I find that the public, their reaction can be, well, you can't say that as social mobility czar. It's okay for me to say these things as me, but it's not okay for me to say it when I'm the chair of the Social Mobility Commission. And I know you, Dan, probably feel, but that's exactly the kind of person that we want as chair of the Social Mobility Commission. But unfortunately, there are too many people out there who think that shouldn't be the case. And I sort of understand it. I mean, once I tweeted about how excited I was to see some of the work that we were doing on schools to see what makes for a great school. And the reaction of some teachers on Twitter was, well, if what you find is that what you do at Michaela, your school works, then we're obviously not going to believe you because it means you'll have doctored all that evidence. And obviously that's nonsense, but I just thought, look, I want these teachers to look at the evidence.
Yeah, you don't need that in your life, but it depresses me because I think it shows the types of thinking that we have within the blob, and there's a lot of groupthink. But look, I really wanted to ask you about these comments from Princess Eugenie, because it does feed into quite a lot of what you've been saying in recent months, that actually, as teachers, as parents, we're actually making a mistake to try and turn our children into social activists. Shouldn't we just let them learn? But then you've got Eugenie, the princess, saying she wants to make her 2-year-old a social activist. So who's right?
Yeah, I mean, that is just mad. The fact is that as adults, that as teachers and as parents, we should be helping children to build a moral core. We should be teaching them algebra and science and Shakespeare. We should not be thinking that the goal is to turn them into an activist or a radical. And unfortunately, the princess's ideas, as well as many teachers and other parents, they see their role as trying to get everyone to overturn the establishment. When, in fact, I always say, look, maybe some of my children will turn into radicals, but some of them will no doubt become dentists. And that's absolutely fine. You know, like, it's good to be able to fulfill your talents, whatever that might be. And it's our role as teachers to teach them the traditional subjects, not to try and engage in this business of overthrowing the establishment through our children.
No, indeed, indeed. And, you know, little Eugenie's son, who knows? He might want to become a presenter at GBNews one day.
Exactly. And that's for him to decide. And he can only decide that by being exposed to a whole variety of different thoughts. And more importantly, the kind of standard knowledge that you would teach to a child. Like, perhaps she might be thinking, let me teach him the difference between a triangle and a square before she wants to turn him into a radical activist.